Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is Maximilian and I'm playing Immersive Engineering. Hooray! Right, so where have I left off? Well, let's have a quick update of what's happening. So as you can see, the area that we had here has now disappeared. I no longer have the farm here. The farm now is here. Yay! Yeah, so I decided to move the farm, make it a little bit more realistic, a bit rustic, nice little area, something simple but also something that will, well, gets what I need. So I've got my industrial hemp growing here. As you can see, sugarcane about everywhere. I've got wheat down here, potatoes up here, and dotted about just to give a bit, make it look a bit nice, is some pumpkins. I also have moved the water sieves or water strainers. I'm not using the fisherman one at the moment, so I've got a tight strainer here. So this is giving me sand, dirt, gravel and golden nuggets, and a normal strainer which is giving me all of those there. So yeah, as you can see, doesn't have to be in still water, it can be in running water as well, or flowing water. So yeah, I quite like it. Nice little garden area, considering that over there is all going to be industrial and all that sort of thing. Oh, let's get myself some food. So the only thing I don't like about it is the torches itself, but yes, it is going to be a good, hopefully nice little build. Plenty of areas. I want to fill this area in over here, get it all sorted over here. So I've got this area here, so I've got plenty of areas, but yeah, that's as we progress through. But got a few issues to sort out, and the first one is this. I've been doing the blocks of coal, turning them into blocks of coal coke, and it's creating a lot of creosote. Now if we put creosote in there and do it does actually tell you. So if you use one coal, it turns it into one coal coke, and you get 50 millibuckets of creosote oil. However, if you do a block of coal into a block of coal coke, you get 5,000. So you actually get an extra millibucket, 1 millibucket or 1 bucket of creosote, doing it in block form rather than the single form. If you did it in oak wood, so any woods, turn it into charcoal, you get a quarter of what you would normally receive from these. Alright, so that's just letting you know on that. But it's storing this creosote. Now I've got some treated wood, as you can see, so but I need to store it. Now I've done one, and this is the wooden barrel, so very simple to make. I'm just going to need to make myself another one. So all you need is 3 treated wood slabs, and you need 5 treated wood planks, and that gives you the wooden barrel. And let me just put it where to put it. I'll just put it down for the moment. So when you place it down, you'll see you've got the opening here, which is what allows you to fill the barrel, but it has this blue dot here. And what this blue dot is that this will receive, so it's an input. Okay, so we can, if we put pipe on this, this will be an input for the pipe, and allows us to receive it. We can change that, so if I get my engineer's hammer and just right click on it, it changes that dot to orange, and that becomes a output. So it will allow products to go through. So if we add stuff in the barrel itself, it will then release it, allows us to release it through. A bit similar to if you've played Ender.io with their tanks there, and also more so if you've played Thermal Expansion, that has the same inputs and outputs as well. If I right click it again, it will get rid of that input and output, just leave it blank. And that's common throughout a lot of the blocks, which we'll see later on. So, not only does it have it at the top, let me just do that, it has it at the bottom as well. So you can do the exactly same thing, right click in, and you can do that. So all I'm going to do is pick that up, and as you can see that one's a blue one, so I can pick that one up, put that one on top. So if I fill this barrel now, it will go straight into this barrel. Now to see what's in the barrel, you just need to get yourself a bucket, and if I've got a bucket in my hand and I hold it against the barrel, you can see that it says empty, and the bottom one says 12,000. So that is its capacity, 12,000. It's not going to accept any more. But so I'd only fill that one up anyway. But at least now I've got somewhere of storing that. I have tried piping it in, but it doesn't seem, or shivering it underneath. It won't accept it straight away. I think we're going to pipe it in. I think I might even have to use a pump. But at this moment in time, we're not at that stage of the game. So, right. In fact, let's get out of this and let's get into this. So, that's the barrel one. You can make, if I just put barrel, okay, so you can make the wooden barrels, which is what I've just made there. There is the gun barrels, so it's a normal wooden barrel with gunpowder, so we can use that, and I'll demonstrate that another time just to show you what that one does. And then another barrel is the metal barrel. It's a similar recipe, but this time it's with sheet metal, and to make sheet metal you need iron plates, and to make iron plates you need your engineer's hammer. So yeah, and you can do the metal barrels. The difference between the two is that your wooden ones, stands to reason, you can't put anything hot in it, so I couldn't fill it with lava, whereas your metal barrels can accept any liquid. Great. Okay, so let's move on to what we're doing today. Well, today we're going to be making power, because I want to use the coal and turn the coal into coal coke, because we're going to need the coke to power something else up. Where's that spider? Where is he? So I don't want to use the coal for anything else. Creeper! Come on, Mr. Enderman. Oh, Enderpearls! Thank you, Mr. Creeper. We're going to get rid of you as well. And again. Yes, one more. Ah! Misclicked. Ah! Not to worry, not to worry. I shall get Mr. Creeper, and we'll fill that in a bit. It was a spider, wasn't it? Mr. Spider. Got to get rid of him. Hopefully he's despawned now. But he might not have done. No, he's not, is he? Yeah, because I don't want spiders. Right, so let's go back a job in hand. I've got some dirt, so I'll fill that in a bit. What was that I picked up? I don't know. Put a torch. Right, so yes, let's go back to what I was actually originally going to be doing. Right, so like I was saying, we're going to want coal for other things now, so it leaves my furnaces a little bit redundant. So what I'm planning on doing now is actually producing our first lot of power. So the first lot of power, power generation, is I need to make a a kinetic dynamo. I'm going to make 2 of these, and this is what we're going to use first. So we're going to use the basic windmill. There is an advanced windmill, if I move on just over here, an improved windmill, should I say, but we need steel, and at the moment we don't have that facility to make steel, but I still need to be able to use my furnaces over there. Okay, we will go into the water wheel a bit later on, but this is what we're going to make now. It's not going to make a massive amount of RF. Alright, it's roughly around about the 20 RF per tick, so that's the reason why I want to make 2. Now I have got some materials already set out to help us do that, and these should be these lot here. We'll go through the other ones in a moment. Okay, ender pearl, look at that. Right, so first things first is we need to make the windmill. Alright, so the windmill, we're going to need 4 of these windmill blades, so I'm making 2, so I'm going to need to make 8, and that's as simple as that. So it's 3 treated woods, blocks, planks like that, and then 4 sticks in that. And so do that, and then they just need to be surrounded an iron ingot, and that's our 2 windmills. Job done. Next things is we need to do is the dynamos. So the dynamos is this. So the first thing we need to make is these coils, and to make the coils we need to make the LV wire. Now we're going to be making a lot of LV wire, so to make the LV wire we're going to be needing to make the copper wire. So we need to make copper into plates. Now this is where I need my hammer, so I turn that into plates, and then I should be able to turn that using my engineer's wire cutters into wires itself. Now I've only made it enough for 1 at the moment, so let me just do that, and that should give me 8. So let's do that again. Turn that into wire, so copper wire, and we've got 2 lots of those, and again into a circle like that, 2 in the middle, and that gives us our copper coil block. Then it's just a case of 2 redstone and that either side. Simple as. And when we use the, even when we use the improved, yeah, we can still use the dynamos, okay, and we're going to need to use the dynamos when we go into the water wheels, but that's what we're going to do for the time being. So I'm going to place these down. I'm going to need my hammer as well, so I'm going to place them down. Now this is the area, as I place them down, alright, this is what it may look like. Okay, now this is where we need to attach the windmill, so it needs to be facing the other side, and it's very simple. Get the hammer out, and all we need to do is right click it once and then twice, and so these copper grills are on either side, but now this is now at the front there. Same again, 1, 2, and that's that. Now one of the things I do need to do, and I have tried this in my testing world, is that we need to build up and put it actually on the face of the actual dynamo, because if we try and come from an angle it won't allow us to do that. Is it getting dark? It is, but I think we've got enough time, we've got plenty of time. So what I need to do now, let's get my windmills in there, is I need to build up to the actual dynamos themselves, because if I come from the rear or side it won't place the windmill in the correct place. So facing at it, stick it on there, and that's my windmill now attached. Just got to do the same the other side. Now this is going to be a little bit difficult because the other side is got a platform there, so we have to do that from the other side. Bit of running around. So yeah, so this should give us our first lot of power. So we should have, let's go up there, this is where I need to be. So yeah, this will be our first lot of power. So we'll be then to start having things, ooh, why am I dancing about? Moving around. Yeah, so we'll be able to power things within the actual factory itself. It's not going to give us a massive amount of generation, and at the moment I'm wasting my power. Alright, so because as soon as they start turning, that's it, they are generating. Now if you do move the dynamos, you need to dismantle the windmills and replace the dynamos and then put the windmills back onto it. Excellent. Right, so we've got power up there. Now we need to bring it down here. So to bring it down here, we need to make some more cable. So that's what these sticks are for. And we also need to make some connectors. So we know how to make these. These are very simple and straightforward. So let's do this quite quickly. So yeah, we're going to need 4 of those because I've worked out that I'm going to need about 8. This is the LV wire cable. So everything we're making at the moment is LV. There is so if I just type in lots wire. Right, to the wire, we've got LV, which is what we're using at the moment because we're not using anything too powerful. We've got the MV, which is medium voltage, so low voltage, medium voltage, and then we've got the high voltage. High voltage, we need steel and aluminium. So yeah, so we're a bit away from there. There's also redstone. Alright, we can use redstone wire core, but again we'll use that later on. At the moment we're just going to make our connectors. So we need the LV connectors, which is something as simple as that, and we also need to make the relays. So why are we making the relays and the connectors? So I'm going to make 8 of those and 8 of those. 2 extra hardened clay. Let's put them somewhere. Where to put you? Let's shove you in there for the time being. Right. The reason why is that, so I just put this down for the time being. So you place them down where your connectors are, and that one down. Okay, so these will string in between. So all you do is place your connectors down on the terminals, which I'll show you in a minute where the terminals are, and then you connect them up by right clicking on one and right clicking onto another, and that will connect them up. If I have a third one, alright, it says there, you cannot attach a wire here. So the only way to connect 2 of these up is we would need a relay. So with a relay we can connect, and we can connect multiples up. So that's basically the principle we're going to be using. Very straightforward. It's quite a simple little system, and one thing I like about it is that it's very aesthetically pleasing. I like the models and the multi-blocks. I think this is really great. I really do think this is a great mod. Okay, right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach a relay there, and then I need to attach a connector, and it just so happens that the copper bit at the top here, that is where we need to connect it. So I'm going to connect one there, and I'm going to connect one there. Lovely. Then I'm going to connect that one up to there, and that up to there. So this is going to be our way down to where our power is. Excellent. So that's one bit done. So the next bit is, I don't want to waste all that power. So this square, rather than just put another relay here, I'm going to build a, now let's have a look what it's called. Is a capacitor. I thought it was capacitor. Yeah, so we're going to make an LV capacitor. Very simple to make, and again you can get the MV capacitors and the HV capacitors. There is torque downs and torque ups, so you've got your transformers, so you can go up from LV to MV. If you've played it, let's have a sleep first. If you've done industrial crafts, you'll probably understand it a little bit more, because you have the LV and MV and HV in or similar in industrial craft. So yeah, it works similar to along there, and I think you can actually use the Immersive Engineering, or you were able to use, and I believe it's still there. So if I had industrial craft installed here, I could have those windmills powering industrial craft equipment. I think you can still do that. You was able to in 1.7.10, and I believe it is still there. Not really tried it, must admit, but I believe it is still there. Okay, so what else I want to build is that capacitor. So these are the items here for the capacitor. Very simple to do. So treat your wood either side. Redstone in the, is it redstone in the middle? Redstone at the bottom, lead, 2 bits of copper, and 3. Oh, look at that. 1 times LV. Okay, so, and this works in the same principle. Remember about the barrels with the red and blue, the orange and blue? So, if I look at the top here, we have a copper connector, which is our connector, and then we have a blue ring around it, or blue markings around it. So this is our input. If I right click on it, it turns to orange, so that's an output. And if I click it again, it's gone back to 0, to nothing. Alright, so it's empty, there's nothing there at all. So I can't connect any connectors, or there's nothing, power is not going to go in or out of it. Okay, and when you, so if you set it up, when you destroy it and place it back down again, it will remember your settings. So, but remember, if you set this side, that's the side it's going to be. Even if you place it down this way, it's still going to be this side, so remember that. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that in that hole there, and I'm going to connect the top to bottom, and that we should then start to receive power. So I need 1 of those and 1 of those. So I'm going to connect that, I'm going to right click on that, climb all the way to the top. And this is the beauty about it, is that you don't have to rush around anywhere. You just click like that, and that's it, it's done. So now, when we come back down here, we should now be connecting RF. Hello? Why is it not connecting RF? Hello? There we go. See, it's doing it now. I was wondering what it was then. So, RF, if you highlight over it, so this is what I like about the one probe. So it's telling me there, we're now building up RF, we've got 15, 16, okay, and I think this is 100,000. It's 100,000 this will go up to. The next one is 1 million, and I believe that's 4 million. So MV is 1 million and 4 million. Let's have a look. Connectors, power, basic wiring, capacitors, yes. And in the book, it's great. The book is fantastic because the book tells you all about how everything all works. So yeah, it is good. We can get a voltmeter if we wanted to. Doesn't say what the powers are, but yeah, I believe that is what it is. Now if you look at the connection, it says 256 IF. So it's IF, it's Immersive Engineering, but it's equivalent to RF. Okay, so yeah, this 256, that's the maximum that these capacitors can take. However, the cables themselves can actually take I believe 1,000. I think it's 1,024. So they can do 4 times, if not 8 times. It might be 2,024. I will have a look at that. I did look at the numbers and things like that. But the cables can take more, because if you look, you can do your relays. So you can have over relays, you can carry a lot more power over the cables. However, the connectors themselves can only receive 256. So just remember that and bear that in mind. I'll have a look at that a bit later, and we'll go into that a bit more in depth within the series itself. But at this moment in time, that is sufficient for what we need, more than enough. And at least at the bottom here, I can have a check and see how power is doing. Right, so I need to put down a output there now. What I'm going to do is stick another terminal in there, and I'm going to stick one there. That's the reason why these two are full blocks. So I didn't want floating connectors running around. So I'm going to connect these 3 up at the moment, and that's that. So this is where it leaves us to the actual furnaces themselves. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up the furnaces and just store them in here for the moment. So what we're going to use for the furnaces themselves, so we looked at doing power, so we've now got power into the actual base now. It's great, yay. So what are we powering? What are we going to do? So the first simple construction is we're going to make, it is it construction? Oh, hang on a minute. Powers, wires and generators, tools, and simple machines. That's where we want to be. Tools and simple machines. Because the one we're going to make now is an external heater. And what this allows us to do is that it will, whichever's close, so the external heater does exactly what it implies. It generates thermal energy from flux. When placed next to a normal furnace, this thermal energy will power the furnace, allowing it to smelt without any fuel inside. Click the side of the heater with a hammer to make it energy acceptor, sneak it to the right to target to the opposing side. The heater will consume 8 flux for each heat unit added. During the initial phase of the furnace, the heat will produce up to 4 units of heat per tick, but as soon as the furnace reaches maximum temperature, it will only require 1 unit of heat to keep it going. Even better, with the furnace at its maximum temperature, the heater will consume an additional 24 flux to increase the furnace's processing speed. The heater will only affect a furnace with a valid input and space in the output slot in order to conserve energy. However, you can apply a redstone signal to the heater to disable the functionality and keep it, the furnace at full heat. So basically what he's saying is that the furnace will only, the heater will only work as long as there's space for the furnaces to cook or to smelt anything. If there's no space there, then it will stop. However, if you apply a redstone signal, so put a switch on it, then we can prevent it from doing that, and so it will it'll be continuously on. So that's what these are all for. That's what we're going to make now. The heater. So if we, it'd be simple. Let's just put heater. So this is what we're going to make. So same again. We need to make the coils. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if we get the hammer to those, snip those. And that's that. And in a circle we have that. Everything else is what we've got. I'm missing an iron ingot for some reason. So that, plus that, and that's it. That's our internal heater all done. Let's have a check of the time. Time is doing well. So I'm going to place that down there. Now this is the this is where I connect up, but I don't want it here. I want it on top. So let me just place a furnace down. So to do that, all I need is my hammer, and I should be able to do that. And I just need to just mess about. There we go. So that's where I want it, on top there. I can now put a connector on. So if I'm actually connecting to the power, these are just relays, so they won't work on there. There will just be a relay, so it won't actually power this unit there. But now that onto that, and that will now work. And the beauty about it is that you'll have one where your connector is, but the other 5 faces I can attach a furnace to. So I can attach one there, and one there, and it will heat all of them up. So let's have a quick look at the furnaces. I've done a few of these, but let's have a look. Let's do 24. So let's split that up. Not that I need to do it in 8s now, doesn't matter. So if I put 8 in there, so that is now cooking without without burning any coal, just using normal natural power. And you can see that the capacitor is slowly going down. But again, I can shove 8 in there and 8 in there, and that's it. I have power. And we've now got power into the base itself, and I'm able to cook things without using coal up. And I think it just looks great, because you come up here, I can look outside, and they're not turning very quickly. However, in wind and rain, so if I don't sleep and it's raining or it's a thunderstorm, these will actually produce more RF, so they'll actually produce more in bad weather. But it looks great. And if you look from the outside, I know it's getting dark and mobs will be spawning soon, but if it's getting dark, if you look outside and just see what it looks like outside, I think it looks great. I really do. I think it looks fantastic. And that's what I try to stick with the actual build itself, trying to make it rustic, trying to make it look as if it's all fits in. And with the improved windmills, alright, you get more blades. It is using hemp as well. Oh, mobs following after me. So yeah, that is something that I'm impressed with. I love it. I think it's great. I really do. I think it's a great mod. I know I keep on about it and I keep harping on about it, but it is a great mod. And if you want something that looks rustic and has moving parts and big clunky things, then this is the mod for you. I tell you, this is what you need for a mod. Where's die? So yeah, this is what we need. And I'm going to repair this area here. So that is it, folks. That is it. This is us having power now. We've now got power to the area, to the site, and this is now opens up a lot more things now. Now, one of the things we do need to start looking into is being able to get steel, and that's what I want to do in the next episode. But it means that we've got to go to the Nether for it. There's no other. There's a few things that we need because we need to make a blast furnace, so that's what we'll look at later on to get this steel. So we do need steel, and we can improve our power, get more power into the workshop and start powering a few more things, get things moving, get things going. But as it stands now, we have power. It doesn't take long for things to cook up, and I can eat some of these fish. But that's it. I hope you liked it. Please subscribe if you do, and we'll see you in the next episode. But again, thanks all the same. In fact, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to look at the windmill. But yeah, please like if you like and subscribe. Okay, so there it is, folks. That's our windmill. We've got power, windmills on both sides. So now we are cooking on electricity. Okay, see you all later.